Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to my first Canadian gaming PC build. Now, this is probably the most requested region that I've gotten in my comments and I haven't covered yet. So here it is, a $500 build from the Canadian Newegg website, just so you guys know what website I'm using. And I never noticed this, but you guys get completely destroyed when it comes to these shipping prices. Holy crap. Before shipping is factored in, this PC actually costs $450, but your shipping prices are so crazy that I actually have to factor that into the budget because it's a decent portion of the whole budget. So you got to factor that in because they're charging you like $7 to ship one stick of RAM. That's absolutely absurd, but whatever, nothing you can do about it except just fit it all in a $500 budget for this video. So yeah, with that being said, let's get straight into this. For the CPU, I chose a CPU that's actually not being sold here anymore in the States. That is the AMD Phenom 2 X4 Black Edition. 3.4 GHz CPU running on socket AM3, 125 watts, and it's a quad-core CPU. Couldn't fit a CPU cooler in this budget, unfortunately, but the stock cooler does get the job done, although the Phenom 2 X4 stock cooler definitely is not the best. Really good quad-core CPU, and you can overclock it if down the line you do get a decent CPU cooler because this is the Black Edition. And for $90, this was really the route to go for this build. Also, with the motherboard, you will have some upgradability options. If you want to upgrade to a pile driver or bulldozer down the line, you can do that. If you want to go for an FX 6300 or 8350 in the future. But this Phenom 2 X4 is going to work really good for games out today. It's a quad-core CPU, and a lot of the latest titles utilize quad-core technology like Battlefield 3, Witcher 2, Metro Last Light. All those games utilize quad-core technology, so having a quad-core CPU in a budget, and it's only $90, so that's really solid for the price. And again, you do have upgradability options to pull pile driver, bulldozer, pile dozer. I guess we'll just call it pile dozer. Yes, you have upgradability options to pile dozer down the line. For the motherboard, I went with the Gigabyte GA-78LMT. This is an AM3 Plus motherboard coming to the market at $57. Now, this is a really solid motherboard for the price. Not a lot of features, but for what it has, it is pretty good. And the main drawing factor is the price at $57. This was a really good fit for the build, although you guys do get shafted at $11.28 worth of shipping costs. But hey, still a really solid motherboard for the build. It's from Gigabyte, which a lot of people respect, so really solid pick for the build. Again, with this motherboard, you will be able to upgrade to pile dozer, as I called it before. So another positive about this AM3 Plus motherboard rather than just going with an old AM3 motherboard. And it is micro ATX. Obviously, we couldn't fit in a full-size motherboard in this kind of budget, but this is still going to get the job done as all the features that you absolutely need on this motherboard. For the RAM, I went with Gigabyte Ripjaws series, 4 gigabytes, one 4 gigabyte stick at 1333 speed. This is about $35, and again, you guys get charged like $7 shipping, so that's pretty nuts. But yeah, only 4 gigabytes in this build. Down the line, you will be easily able to add another stick of RAM for another $35, so that's really good that you guys can just go out and buy another 4 gigabyte stick and obviously get shafted on that shipping price, but you know, that's besides the point. But 4 gigabytes of RAM for right now is going to work really well, but 8 gigabytes is going to slowly start becoming more of a standard in the not too distant future. So having the option to add another 4 gigabyte stick is really awesome, and it only costs $35, so that is something that you can do down the line. But for now, you don't really need 8 gigabytes. 4 gigabytes will still get the job done, so I went with 4 gigabytes opposed to 8 gigabytes, especially when 8 gigabytes cost like $80 on the Newegg Canada site. So figured 4 gigabytes would be way better, so we could save some money and put that towards the GPU. Speaking of the graphics card, in this build I went with an EVGA GeForce GTX 650 Ti for $150, and it's $130 after a $20 mail-in rebate. This is a really good graphics card. Originally, I wanted to go with a GTX 660. I wanted to try to fit that into the build, but no way with the absurd shipping prices that I'm trying to factor in. Had to go with the 650 Ti, which is still a really awesome graphics card for about $130, $120. And, you know, for lower resolution gaming like 1680 by 1050 or 1280 by 720, this card's going to work really, really well. You're going to be able to max out most titles at lower resolution. Some titles like Witcher 2, obviously, you'll have to turn off Uber sampling. Things like Metro Last Light, you won't have to, you're not going to be able to crank up all the AA features, but for the most part, you're going to be able to play at reasonably high settings with this graphics card for only $130. Really good fit into the build, and it's from EVGA, again, another trusted brand that a lot of people respect. So the GeForce GTX 650 Ti was a really good addition to the build. This isn't the Boost Edition, by the way, for those of you wondering. This is the non-Boost Edition. This is just the 650 Ti, so there you go with that. For the power supply, I went with the Corsair Builder Series CX500. This is $40 after a $20 mail-in rebate. 500 watts, easily going to be able to power this build, no problem. The 650 Ti is lower on the power consumption, and while the Phenom 2 X4 is a 125 watt CPU, you know, it's not gonna, you know, break the 500 watt that easily. 500 watts is gonna be easily enough to, you know, power this build. For the hard drive, I went with Western Digital WD Blue 1 terabyte of storage. No SSD in this build, obviously. You guys know what I say. If you already have a hard drive that you can salvage from a previous build, you can just skip this part. And actually, if you do want to spend that $65 that we are putting towards the hard drive in this build, you can put that instead towards the GPU. That's what I'd recommend instead of getting an SSD or something like that. Put it towards the GPU, get like a GTX 660, and you'll be good. Otherwise, a Western Digital WD Blue 1 terabyte is going to do you really good for the build. Finally, for the case, one with the NZXT Source 210. Now, this is about $40, and once again, you guys get just completely shitted on when it comes to the shipping prices for about $12. So still, for 50 bucks, the NZXT Source 210 is a really awesome case, really good side panel, and yeah, that's about it for this build. Remember to subscribe, like this video, comment, and you know, like this video for more Canadian builds. I have some other regions that I gotta get back to. I gotta do some Australian builds, because I think I did one Australian build and then I just didn't do anymore. So those are still coming. Got a lot of the cool things that I'm working on. So yeah, just stay tuned. And yeah, peace out, and have a good day. Peace.